It's important not to tie your self-esteem into how you look or what people think of you. I mean, look at me, I'm an actor. An actor, for crying out loud.
But you've never actually had an audition.
Well, excuse me.
Hi everyone, welcome to Priority Holder, and today we're playing Green-White Collected Company Cats in the Explorer format. So the name of the game here is to play cats early and often and just beat them down. And so our main engine for doing so is Collected Company, which lets us look at the top 6 and put 3 mana value creatures directly onto the battlefield. And so one of the best ones to do that with is our Cat Lord, Feline Sovereign. It gives cats +1/+1, and whenever a cat hits a player, we get like a free naturalize effect. Our other Lord is Kaheera the Orphanguard, which gives cats +1/+1 in vigilance. We also have one as a companion. And sort of our other cat top end is Feline Sovereign, which gets boosted for each cat we control and can also exert to create a couple more. And then in the 2 mana slot, we have a couple 3-power attackers, Bronzehide Lion, Wary Thespian, and sort of like our Scavenging Ooze variant Lion Sash. Give us a little late game reach, and then some mediocre 1-drops filling out our curve. Another thing I'm trying out in this deck is Esika's Chariot. So this is like a strong card that has like its own pedigree. It's very good, but it is elevated when you have Cat Lords, because then it can make 2 3/3 cat tokens, for example. So trying it out for just its pure power level, and it's on theme. However, it is a bit at odds with the Collected Company because it reduces the density of our hits a little bit by not including more slow creatures. So I'm trying to see, does this warrant inclusion? Anyway, let's jump into some games. Alright, so this looks like a pretty spectacular hand. Exactly what we're looking for, lands and spells. We're going to start off with the power play of Sacred Cat, turn 1. See what the opponent can do about it. They pass back to us. And yeah, slam Lair the Hydra and Bronzehide Lion. Crashing for 1 damage. And Supreme Phantom from the opponent. Very brand conscious. However, we get a really strong follow-up with Kaheera the Orphanguard. That's going to allow us to crash in with both cats. And they're just going to block the Sacred Cat, but we still lock in that life gain. So we already have them like heavily under pressure here. Alright, so the opponent just plays a land and passes. A second copy of Collected Company was amazing here. And so, question is when to fire it off, but fortunately the opponent goes for the Nabelgast tap play, so now we know the coast is clear for Collected Company. So we're completely safe. Fired off. Was hoping to hit another Lord, but Pride Sovereign plus another Bronzehide Lion, no problem at all. So just casually adding 11 power, and that was it. Broke their spirit. So as we move on to the next game, please classification that like button, comment and subscribe. Supports the channel and helps me know what the people want. Thank you. Game 2. And yeah, a couple cats and a Lord. Pretty happy about it. Red source from the opponent. We're going to start with our Cave of the Frost Dragon. And opponent cuts it down right away with Fiery Impulse. So we were hoping to get the counter by playing the second Charm Stray, though might have played Wary Thespian turn 2 anyway. But yeah, so best play, just Wary Thespian. Can help us fix our draw a little bit. Like, we don't want any more lands at the moment. Yeah, get rid of that land. So that was actually really nice. The surveilling, when it comes and goes, is pretty strong. In case opponent end of turn impulse. Takes 1 for good measure, so that helps with our plan. So there could be some sort of red-blue control deck, but they're probably creativity, based on sort of the play pattern we've been seeing. But we're going to slam Kaheera and hopefully smash him for 4. Attack. And yeah, so they have an answer for Kaheera. Now the nice thing about Volcanic Sprite in their deck is that it's not a discard then draw. It tucks it back in the library because they're so light on win conditions. It's really good to help them put them back in for creativity to pull back out. And we could tell at this point that they are in fact creativity. They're playing artifacts to target with it. And we're going to just go ahead and slam Feline Sovereign. And it appears to stick, and the upside is incredible because every time we hit with the cat, we get to destroy an artifact or enchantment. So we're just going to be very vexing for Indomitable Creativity because they're just trying to collect a few artifacts to be able to fire off creativity. And with an unanswered Feline Sovereign, we're going to be like causing them a lot of headaches. Alright, so they fire off, big score. So they have plenty of mana, it's the question of whether they have their payoffs. Okay, so they slam Xenagos. So this is a somewhat recent development in the Explore metagame, so creativity decks can now play Xenagos plus like World Spine Worm. And so they just need to fire off creativity, X equals 2. They hit both of those targets, and then Xenagos doubles World Spine to a 30-30. So, however, we're able to destroy their artifact again, and so it's unlikely to be able to like generate a new artifact and have enough mana for creativity. Now I go ahead and use Lion Sash here to like nuke their graveyard. I think that might have been playing a little too safe. Probably been better to slam Esika's Chariot there, because the opponent makes a desperation play here, so they're firing off Impulse. I don't know if they run like Anger the Gods or something, but that would completely wreck us here. Whereas Chariot would help give us an out if they pulled Anger the Gods. But yeah, it looks like they just couldn't muster enough defense. We were able to kill them before they were able to get all the right pieces together, and that's it. So move on to the next game. Though a land would let us activate Lair the Hydra for the win, post like Anger the Gods or something. Turn 1, Luminarch Veteran. We're facing Angels. Trying to figure out which land to play. Decide just to play the Shock land immediately and send out the Charm Stray. Let's see what the opponent follows up with. Youthful Valkyrie. They gain 1. And I love this attack right here for them. Just going for it. Like, it's not a huge part of their plan, Veteran. Like, it depends on sort of what life gain increments. So I love this aggro attack right here. Like, they called, they called our bluff basically. Deciding what land to play. And gonna slam a Bronzehide Lion just to deter further attacks and be able to send in a little bit better. Youthful Valkyrie is a little concerning because it can grow so fast. Bronzehide Lion's not long for this world. Skyclave's gonna eat it right up. So we're feeling pretty behind being on the draw, and yeah, opponent's already chopped us down to 15. Now there is an argument for chumping the Veteran, but they get to disturb it from the graveyard, and we also are benefited by having more cats out for all the lords that we play. So that's why I was very hesitant to block with Charm Stray at that point, but Resplendent Angel from the opponent is very strong. Thankfully they haven't gained enough life to start setting it off, but Youthful Valkyrie is going to keep chipping in. And we're already at 13, facing at least 5 power flyers, so I'm playing for the future right here. Like, we don't have any good attacks. Feline Sovereign is really good to keep on top. What we're trying to do is just amass as much power as possible. So I play 2 Wary Thespians. So just for 4 mana, we're able to add 8 power. We're hoping to just really start crashing in soon. A second Resplendent Angel. We could tell at this point opponents choked on lands. Like, maybe they have like a collected company that's stranded in hand right now. But we're at 7 life, which is very precarious. This is definitely a Kaheera the Orphanguard play right here. It gives our creatures vigilance, which could matter for like the crackback, so we definitely want Kaheera instead of the second Sovereign. But we're able to smash in for a ton of damage, and notably get 3 life off Charm Stray, because that puts us to 10. So any angel right now, we're dead, because Youthful Valkyrie gets a counter. They send it in, but Luminarch Veteran's a good sign. Let's see what the follow-up is. And they just get the Phantom, and so yeah, and then they send it to everyone. And yeah, we just gotta make sure we block on the ground, but we've locked up this win right here. So I don't know why they attacked with Skyclave. I think maybe to gain some life off the Phantom. But in reality, like, we have way too much damage coming at them right here. Because we can go ahead and slam another Lord and crash in, and like almost any two creatures are lethal at this point. So feels good to win against Angels, and it's very likely they had a collected company. So this was actually a very close game. Like, they were so close to just ending us with any Angel or probably like land collected company. So that was sort of a fortunate win that we sort of squeaked by. Charm Stray is not super impactful, so opt for the tapped land turn 1. Much better is to guarantee the turn 2 Bronzehide. Alright, it resolves at least. Impulse from the opponent, so it could be another creativity deck. They're very popular in Explorer. Alright, so they pass. And yeah, we have an untapped land, so we're just going to slam a Lord and just see if we can start crashing for some damage, but opponent has the counter spell to make disappear, so very well chosen target by them, because that elevates all of our creatures a lot. Big score from the opponent, pitching an MDFC. So we could play, so our options here are Chariot or Collected Company. Decide that Collected Company has probably more upside. So I'm going to initiate the attack first and try and fire it off mid-combat. I'm really hoping to hit a Feline Sovereign and destroy their treasures. So it does suck to get Collected Company countered here. But we did force them to blow both of their treasures, so they don't have any creativity targets right now. Alright, so Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Sure. They're really trying to get artifacts, and so, like I said, it wasn't good to get Collected Company countered there, but it ate up their treasures. Feline Sovereign's an amazing draw here. So either they chump with their Goblin, or by hitting their, we get to destroy Fable of the Mirror Breaker. So, like I said, Feline Sovereign's so good against these creativity decks. It's just, it must be super annoying for them. But they were able to replace an artifact with the clue, so we're not out of the woods yet. Alright, so they play Sage of the Falls. And so this version of creativity, its 2-card combo is Sage of the Falls plus Locust God. Sage of the Falls, whenever a non-human enters, they get to draw a card and discard a card. Locust God, whenever they draw a card, they create a 1/1 flying hasty insect. So just those two together coming out at the same time will be infinite, or a library size amount of hasty insects for the win. So now I think the opponent, in fear of their life total right here, makes a small mistake, because we could see that they pitched a creativity, so presumably they have an extra one. They think they blocked a little too much, because not only did they lose their artifact from our combat damage, but they lost their Goblin token, which could give them more artifacts. So it's hard to know with like imperfect information, but if they're pitching a creativity there, presumably they have another one in hand. So I think that was like a slight misplay that's going to cost them, because as you can see, they've just frankly ran out of artifact generation, because they just need to creativity for 1 to get a Locust God in play and lock up that win. So it's hard to make the decisions in a heated game. Like I said, I could be missing something, but I don't know how else to explain that they would pitch a creativity there. But yeah, that's it. They weren't able to recover from it. So you could see that even though some of the creatures we play are sort of unspectacular, like Charm Stray, like when you have enough Lords in your tribe, like you can really shell out some damage, especially when you got like power plays like Esika's Chariot or overstated stuff like Bronzehide Lion. What the cat deck needs is strong 1-mana plays, stronger 1-mana plays. Even though this is sort of a great opening right here. Double Charmed Stray. Would have been nice to have one more to really rack up the life linkers against Burn, what it looks like. Could be Knights. Yeah, it's Burn. Bone Crusher's going to end the life linking fun. And it's interesting that they're attacking. I mean, maybe they know we have Lords coming that they probably won't block, but they can't really race a life linker when they're equal power right here, so could be an argument for them keeping their person back because they're not actually lowering a life total right now. But they are main decking rampaging Ferocidon, so that's going to shut off our life gain, and they probably just got sick of losing to angels. I can understand it. I can respect it. So now this is going to be tough. Ferocidon's going to ding us and them for every creature that enters the battlefield. So we still need a bunch more creatures to actually kill them. And so that's just going to help their goal, really pressuring our life total. So Kumano faces Kakazan, comes down. What are they going to do? Bone Crusher? Oh, so another Stomp. We're going to go ahead and crew the Chariot to try and deter an attack from the Ferocidon. And they have another champion. So Chariot's doing some work right here because let's see if they attack. Yeah, so they didn't attack with any. We could have taken a huge amount of damage there. So decide here to fire off Collected Company. And this is sort of a lame hit. I mean, at least we did get 2 creatures. Like, that is helpful. But it's going to cost us 2. We would really like 2 lords to start outgrowing their burn and like getting some formidable attackers. But at the very least, we could send him a Chariot. So I accelerate a bit here because I try and figure out which are the right 2 to tap. Still think I made the wrong choice. Because I neglected to think about how the Fervent Champions can buff each other. And so we're just not blocking with any 2-power creatures. Would have been better to keep Bronzehide untapped to just at least make the opponent sweat a little. So I think it would have been better to do 2 2/2s to crew Chariot in this situation. But they're going to get an XL Bone Crusher Giant with a little counter boost. Ferocidon's going to ding them. Let's see what they do. They really don't want Ferocidon to die and unlock our life link. So yeah, they're doing the little Fervent Champion dance right here. And so we're not going to be able to block with those 2-power first strikers. So our life total is getting dangerously low. But look at the contents of our hand. We're feeling pretty good. And so do some calculating here. And I sort of edit some of the thinking time out. But turns out, presuming they don't like have like a burn spell, we actually have lethal right here. So we're going to be taking some more damage off Ferocidon. But I led with Kaheera, that way we have a 4-power Thespian. So if they burned in response, we could still crew the Chariot. If they burned Kaheera, then it would sort of fall apart. But Thespian now has 4 power, so it could solo pilot Esika's Chariot. Sorry, crew it. And that's going to allow us to just send in for a ton of damage, notably with Vigilance because of Kaheera. So we're like basically completely safe from the crackback, and opponents realizing like they are in for it now. So they're blocking maximum damage. Turns out with those combination of cards, that was exact lethal. We don't gain the life, but we get the win. So that's a clean 5-0 with Collected Company Cats, and it felt pretty good, but honestly, like, we did get some really lucky breaks, like Angel's getting stuck on 3 lands, so, and Creativity just sort of fizzling to itself a couple times. But I think there is some potential for this deck. It is very single-minded, like, we don't have any removal outside of, like, sometimes shooting down artifacts and enchantments with Feline Sovereign. But I think there's something here. The biggest vulnerabilities to the strategy are the weakness of our 1-drops. Like, they just are not that impactful. We would kill for like Savannah Lions or something like that, maybe someday. But yeah, Chariot did feel pretty good. It does reduce our Coco count, so hard to say. Maybe it's correct to play like 2 copies, but it was really good in the games it showed up in. Another consideration for this deck is like tweaking the number of Kaheeras or Pride Sovereigns. Like there's some tweaking and some tinkering that could happen. Another trick you can do with Collected Company decks is to load up on Glasspool Mimics to try and like get more hits off Collected Company. Problem is Glasspool doesn't help our mana out. It could actually hurt our mana when we're trying to play Bronzehide Lions, you know. And we'd have to uncompanion Kaheera if we included those. So the trade-offs might be a little too high. But yeah, let me know in the comments what are your favorite cat cards. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day.